Hey everybody, this is your man Tight coming to you with the finale to Dust It. Yes, another true Spook TV story. Now I'm doing this thing with I'm using a new microphone, which is I'm using one of them little podcast microphones. I'm trying to get the sound quality just right. So y'all gonna have to bear with me while we grow, but I'm still gonna bring these messages to you, these nice stories. But you know how I like to say, uh, like, share, subscribe to the channel if you think it's worthy. And let's get on into the finale of this thing, Dusted. Now, where we left off last 2 weeks, you know, we were talking about how Dope Man Steve, was killed, and and his left hand was cut off. And if I'm not mistaken, Wendell took that bitch to do some magic with it, or however. So he was missing his left hand. So then when we left off again, so Dope Man Steve did, and then the witch man Ulysses, he got blowed up in his house. House caught on fire, boom. He got killed in an explosion. So we finna start it right there. So now Wendell, after the witch man Ulysses, was trying to be the witch man that's using magic to fuck on hoes and doing little shit to get money. He trying to do spell work, but he was just doing them low level ass fuck ass spells. The same type of shit you see from Ipsy and shit. Just weak shit. So, grandma, she certified in this shit. So she didn't like the energy he was putting out. So grandma had, put his name around town for what she was saying. She was telling everybody if they keep fucking with him, the spells ain't gonna go right, their life ain't gonna go right. So virtually grandma was hating, but within good reason, because grandma used to always say that bitch ain't got say that bitch can't see I wanna say it just how she said it. She used to say that bitch can't see day for light. Yeah, in a country town how we talk down here, she say he couldn't see day before the light. Now whatever that mean in Southern magic, I don't know, but this is the type of shit she used to say. But she used to curse him every time she see them. And to this day, Wendell got one eye. And to this day, his son Wendell Jr. got one eye, the same eye missing. I kid you not, can't make this shit up, bro. So grandma used to go around telling everybody, that hey, that bitch spell work is bad. You're gonna get fucked up if you keep dealing with him and shit like that. So people started turning their back on him. Now Wendell converted to the one thing he knew how to do, and he fight. And these time people, they was bad. They was like, we had fight clubs here in the South. So they would meet up and pop, 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 pop. They'll fight, bare knuckle fight. Whoever win. It is what it is. So Unc was a good fighter. Wendell was a good fighter. Uncle Wendell had beef. So anytime Unc came back there to fight, to knock a bitch out, like Fight Club, Wendell would get in there, and that's when the big money was. They'll place them bets. So now, Unc and Wendell, they done met up 2-3 months. They bear brawling, knocking each other out, cause nobody wanted Wendell to be the witch man, cause everybody thought that he was gonna be taking their energy, using it to get dope and pussy and all that shit there. So he just converted back to fighting. So Unc had to beat him up. Now grandma had her little chicken round Unc, had Uncle our family little chicken feet round Unc neck. So Unc was always protected spiritually. And keep in mind, Unc also had that Buddhist shit in his arm for when he went over there to the Cambodian shit with Dope Man Steve. That's gonna play a significant part in this shit. So Unc, old boy fighting. So now Unc is doing some martial arts shit. He done went from like bare knuckle boxing to he putting that knee in his ass. He doing the Muay Thai. This is what they saying. Like Unc was like he was a Mong Bong man, Ling Mong Bong on your ass. I don't know. Hey, if you're Asian out there, I ain't trying to pick at you. I'm just trying to say just how they say it. I don't know the fucking words, but let's just say that bitch was flying around, hitting bitches with his knees in the air. So Unc whooped Wendell ass. Unc whooped Carl ass. They keep saying. They say Unc was just known. He was known for whooping ass. So one day in the hood, spirit man Ulysses, his daughter or some girl came around, and she used to, throw cookouts and shit. Dope man Steve used to throw cookouts and shit for the party. But then when the house blew up, everybody used to come together on that day because Witch Man Ulysses, he did do good for the neighborhood, no matter how it worked. So they would celebrate. Back in the day in the South, we celebrate our heroes. So everybody throw a barbecue and they'll put pictures of the dead up there, the banners. We do banners now, but they would take little portrait, little 8 by 10, 14s, whatever. Put it on the table. They'll barbecue, 2, 3 people barbecue, and the women making greens and pig feet and all that shit. It'll just be a party, and everybody in that neighborhood, no matter who you was, as long as the food lasts and the music was out there and the liquor, you bring your own bottle, beer, whatever. We just chill and eat, then we clean up, and that was a celebration. Now this where the shit finna get wild. So Witch Man Ulysses' daughter come through, and she bring his ashes. She bring his ashes to the party because they cremated him, and she bring his picture, and they sitting up there. So now Dope Man Steve, Witch Man Ulysses sitting on the table together. Ashes, one don't have ashes. So everybody jamming. So now a fight break out at the party. This is like two jits. So, Aunt run over there, Wendell run over there. They both all swollen up from the night, from the fight a couple days before. Each one break it up, each one break it up. So one of the boys end up like still trying to swing, and they knock over Witch Man Ulysses' ashes. So Witch Man Ulysses' ashes float through the air because it was kind of like a windy night. Float through the air, and Witch Man Ulysses' ashes get on Unc. It's not. Unc say he started tasting like the dust and the ash in his mouth, and he started spitting. He was like all that dust, and it was fine silk dust. He called it Mars dirt. I love my uncle. So he say the great Mars dirt got on him, and it was so fine it just wouldn't come off his skin. And grandmama saw it, and grandma just went over there and she got a white handkerchief and just dusted him off and told him it's gonna be okay. So now Unc say for like 3 weeks he had these badass fucking dreams. He had these badass dreams that he was being chased by the devil. He had these badass dreams that he was over there in another country saving the Asian people from whatever they were going through, like helping them out the mud and fighting their battles for them, like he was spiritually warfaring with the Asians. So always sit up there and say Asian people smarter than what we think, and their spirit is connected to ours. To this day, he'll tell you the Asian people's spirit is connected to ours. So the ashes got on and again, Unc just having these bad dreams. So Unc starts sleeping. So Witch Man Ulysses' daughter or whoever that woman was to Unc had started coming over there, and she started finding favor with Unc. And Unc and her started fucking around. Like she felt the energy of whoever on Unc. So Wendell saw this shit, and Wendell got real pissed off. So Wendell like, well, double fuck, So Wendell went around to Dope Man Steve people and say, did y'all take him to the cemetery? What did y'all do? So they're like, yeah, Dope Man Steve was buried over there at Carver Court Cemetery. So get this shit. And grandma told me this. So this shit is real. If grandma told me, you hang your hat on this shit right here, good people. Grandma said Wendell used to go out to the cemetery and get the graveyard dirt from Dope Man Steve, and he say if it made Uncle Sean desirable and made him all spiritual warfare, that because he had started learning spiritual warfare, he said that okay to make him pretty like the best dope man in the thing, because he'll be taking he could get the ashes of Dope Man Steve where he could get the dirt from the cemetery. So he started taking cemetery dirt. People, I can't make this shit up. This is what they telling me now. And he started dusting himself with cemetery dirt. Sprinkle that shit on. And he like used to rub it all in his hand, rub it all on his neck, and he'll shake it off and all that shit. Then he'll take some home and like every morning he would rub that shit all on his hand and rub it on his arm before he put on his cologne. However, they say he used to always put that cemetery dirt, that he would always go out there to the cemetery where Dope Man Steve was, and get some Adult Man Steve cemetery dirt. Now, at the time, he just had a little bit of Witch Man Ulysses ashes blow on him from the cookout, from the party, the block party. So now, and Wendell, they at it again. They fighting again. When they see each other, they sparking all this old beef up again. They say them boys just couldn't get it right. My uncle is 60 years old, people. Right now, he's 60. Wendell got to be about 57, 58, 62. To this day, they still don't like each other. This is a spiritual rivalry, people. So now, Unc's still up here messing around with old girl, with Witch Man Ulysses' daughter, cousin, niece. I don't know because this is not my story. I'm going on hearsay, so some of the details I'm telling best I can, and I do apologize, y'all. I tell you this shit crazy. So the girl go over there and she see that Unc got a black eye. Unc been fighting, and they see Wendell driving a new car. He's starting to pick up clients in the dope game. People starting to fuck with him, so he that unlocked something. He like, okay, if I dust myself with this motherfucker dirt, I can take the essence of the witch man, the dope man, and become the dope man and all that stuff. So he just kept on, but he was smart because he would go over there, he would take a rag and every New Year and wring out water on the grave. He would sit up there and he would clean the grave, put flowers on the grave. He would honoring the grave, leave fruit and change at the grave. So he was honoring Dope Man Steve, but at the same time, he was taking his essence from the grave and dusting himself with the powder and shit. So, Witch Man Ulysses, female that would like an Unc, she understood spirituality too. Grandma understood it too. But Wendell would always come around and want to fight Unc and knock him out and all that shit there because Unc had lost his power. For some reason, Unc just didn't have to fight in him no more. He was more so spiritual than ass kicker. And in the beginning, Wendell was more spiritual because he tried to be the witch man, and Unc was a knockout man, but the role had reversed. So Witch Man Ulysses' daughter came over there and she started, taking Witch Man Ulysses' ashes and she started like sprinkling it around Unc. Like Unc could go to sleep, she would sprinkle it on his back and stuff. And this coming from grandma, y'all. And grandma used to like give her the go ahead, like, yeah, rub it in, baby, rub it in. So grandma was on to this shit. So Unc was getting massaged and powdered with Witch Man Ulysses' ashes to make him more spiritual, while Wendell was going to the graveyard getting Dope Man Steve dirt and dusting himself with that. So that's why the story is called Dusted. So that's why I named it Dusted, because it's like a metaphor, like three-way Kendrick Lamar type shit, people. So now Unc is getting strong spiritual. So Unc got his chicken foot. So Unc can do witchcraft like pretty good. So Unc and Grandma talking about witchcraft and they talking about this, they talking about that. Now here go the funny part, people. Unc said that he got possessed. Unc said he felt when his soul left his body and he got possessed by an Asian monster. He said the Asian monster looked like a man, smelled like a man, felt like a man, but it had like face and features and a tongue sticking out his mouth like a monster with fangs. And he said only thing he can do when that monster took over him and he was about to fight Wendell, or he was finna do some spiritual work or go into spiritual battle, so that he would just start crying, and all of a sudden he just stopped crying. He'll cry real hard, like for like 2 minutes, and not everything. He say the silence stop, and he'll be somebody else. And say he'll just walk around like, yeah, bitch, and he'll be running the show, doing spiritual work, running spiritual errands, like he was doing all spiritual stuff, collecting spiritual money. But he still had the energy in him to fight people like a beast. He like, if somebody fuck with me, I put that beast on their ass. And Unc ain't the type to curse. But he said he never cursed. He said shit like, great day, good God the Miley. He's talk like that. Sylvester Stallone rocket energy. So grandma understood what was happening because grandma said this neighborhood can't be lost to a spiritual dope man. So she was like, it has to have a counterbalance to the whole thing. So the spiritual dope man needed a spiritualist to keep shit in balance. Because if he bringing poison and drugs into the neighborhood, you have to have a spiritual man to balance the shit. And people, I'm gonna sidebar right quick. That's what's going on with the neighborhood. It ain't enough spiritualists working the people of the neighborhood, so the toxins and the poisons are sitting in the neighborhood. The dope man and the fentanyl people, they killing the shit. It ain't enough root workers in your black community, or in your white community. I don't know. I'm just gonna say that off topic, but back to it. So grandmama and Witchman Ulysses, female niece, daughter, ex-wife, I don't know, understood that Wendell was getting out of control. He was getting unchecked, and he was using the spirit of the dope man to flood the neighborhood with dope and to be that dude. So they basically turned Uncle Sean into this demon, this energy to counter him in case shit got out. And so now, to this day, they have a forever fight locked into each other, people. It is what it is. So now they done rub this shit in Unc crying about the demon taking over. But once the demon take over, he can knock your ass out. He could do spiritual work. He just own it. So they said one day they was at Gates store. It's right there at the corner of Orange Center and I want to say Tampa Avenue. So they had went out there to Gates store. Some agents owned Gates store at that time. So went out there to Gates. Wendell went out there to Gates. They meet each other. They go in there to get a Fago soda or something like that. But when they bumped each other, it was like they say to this day it was like a magnet. Like when they bumped each other, they couldn't let each other go. They was like shoulder to shoulder because Wendell went to nudge Unc, and Unc went to throw his shoulder back to him like, bitch, I ain't moving, you ain't moving. But they say they was like locked and they kept like going around in circles with each one of their chest muscles touching each other like two women. And that's what Unc say, like a man and a woman. We going around in circles in the stove. So they went around in circles and they walked to the side of the stove. And when they got to the side of the stove, out of camera sight or out of the Asian sight, I say they pushed off on each other and instantly went to fighting. So now Unc punching him. I mean, this is a knockout drag out, but Unc say nobody was sustaining damage. It was like boom, 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 punch for punch, punch for punch, lick for lick, lick for lick. And they say nobody was swelling up, bruising, gaining any leeway and shit. So Unc say he just said I'm done, and both of them like at the same time said I'm done, and they walked away from each other. And everybody like, that's the craziest thing. So they were like, y'all boys indestructible, y'all crazy. So Unc went ahead and did his thing. Now Unc do always tell me that every time he got ready to fight, he always smelled rotten fruit. He say, and he would always say when he knew the demon or the spirit that the Asian spirit that was inside him, he say every time he knew that the spirit was coming, he would smell rotten fruit, like it's been rotten sitting around and somebody rubbed yeast in it as if it was about to turn into alcohol, but it don't turn into alcohol. It's just rotten and it stay right like it's fermenting. That's the word. He said it always smelled like fermented rotten fruit, like it's finna turn into something you can drink, but it don't turn into liquor. And he said that's when he knew that he had to either get away from everybody because he was always afraid that thing would come and it would take over and hurt him. Now, I want to hark back to the story I said because this is very important, people. That's why I had to do this in two parts. Now, I want to hark back to the thing with Unc when he did take Auntie Nita life. And she kept like trying to hit him, stabbing with the little rat tail comb as he was trying to leave. And what he wrote down and told the police officer say that his eyes rolled to the back of his head. He gained everybody that told the police like how he looked. Say his eyes rolled to the back of his head, and he gained like 6 inches of height and mass and muscle, and it was like a demon had possessed him and took him over. Now, people, I ain't the smartest man in the world, but I would think that that same demon resided in Unc to this day. That he got that thing in him to this day, because when he took Nita's life, everybody said his eyes rolled to the back of his head, and he tried to run, but she cornered him. So he grabbed the screwdriver off the counter and stabbed her. And she ran in the room and bled out. Locked the door, and he hopped on his bike, rode down the road to my mama's house, and my mama say when he got off the bike, he took one hand, picked the bike up, and threw the bike like 12 feet away from him like it was nothing. He had so much energy and strength. And then they called the police, and that what happened. But back to the story. So now they don't rub this energy in Unc, and he's seeing the energy, and he know what's there, and he say he's smelling the rotten fruit, so he knew when it would come. Now, Wendell is on the other hand. Wendell racking up. Got the bitches, got the hoes, got the car, got the money. He done moved into a nice little place. Shit going good. He going to the cemetery honoring Dope Man Steve. I mean, he got it. He got it. But Unc was still trying to help people like grandmama, like me and grandma, doing spiritual work and everything. So now it all came to a head. He said it was like 2 days before Halloween, so October 28th, 29th. I don't know what Halloween is. People probably 31st of October. Because he said he know, because everybody was gonna wear Dracula costumes in the neighborhood block party cookout. Like they were gonna dress up, and him and his people gonna wear Dracula costume. So he said this whole thing came to a head with Wendell and him, because he started smelling bad fruit again. And then he said when he started smelling bad fruit, he just ended up in the bathroom crying, and he couldn't stop crying. Nobody could console him. They're like, you okay? But right before that day, the lady and grandmama had dusted with the ashes on top of his head and shit. And because remember I told you he would start rocking a bald head, and they dusted him on his head, and it was hot, man, humid. So Unc had started sweating. So you can see the powder. You know how when you dust a bitch and they turn white all over their bald head, you put that talcum powder. But he said he was white like that with that with Spirit Man Ulysses ashes on him. He was dusted like makeup, knowing the movie in the cartoon. So he had that on him, but he had started to sweat on top of his bald head with the little cape on and shit, and he just started crying. So it's running down his face, looking like blood coming down his eyes and shit. And he come down the stairs from the little project apartment, and he got on the little Dracula cape, and he all sweaty, and they say he walked down the stairs looking like a zombie, like a powdered zombie, like he had no life in him. And all of a sudden he saw Wendell. And Wendell came over there like dressed, they say Wendell came over there dressed like Fred Sanford or some kind of like a homeless wino man and shit. And say Unc just ran straight at him. And say when Unc ran straight at him, Unc just started hitting that man so hard. And Unc had no compassion for nothing, nobody there. And the crazy part about it, grandmama, granddaddy, Ulysses, the female friend, stood back and watched that shit go down. And they watched it go down, and they said Unc beat that man to his knees. Say he beat him to his knees, and he wasn't like fighting like martial arts. He was using straight fists. And say beat Wendell down, and it take my cousin Neri to tell you. Say broke him down to his knees. Say broke him down to his knees, because when everybody talk, Eric come getting the third party. So as kids, we listen to this. Yeah, Unc brought that big bitch down to his knees and just beat him, boom, boom, boom. So as Unc whooping him, pop, pop, pop. All of a sudden, damn Wendell went in his pocket, and he just took out all this dirt and just started throwing it in the air on his face, on his body. So when he started throwing the dirt and shit on his face and on his body, he grew up and he got strength. So now him and Unc slugging that thing out. They in the middle of the hood, tossing him, pom, pom. And they saying this is like two juggernauts. It's like ain't nobody falling. Unc was whooping him, but ain't nobody falling. And as soon as that chicken foot fell off Unc neck, they say when that chicken foot hit the ground and Wendell stepped on that chicken foot because him and Unc were tussling, they said they heard the biggest, loudest thunder crack in the sky. And when they heard that thunder crack in the sky, they say only thing Wendell did is jump back like 3 feet. And he said, and he was talking like he was hallucinating. He like, so y'all all gonna jump me, huh? And he kept just swinging at the air, fighting everything. He fighting everything, man. He just swinging, and Unc's punching him still, but he not even connecting with Unc. They say he was just fighting like demons in the air. So Unc was like, yeah, we all got him. Let's beat him up. Let's kill this nigga. And Unc was saying stuff like this. And Unc would start foaming out the mouth and growling. And he just like lost all humanity. It was crazy, 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 people, from what they saying. After they whooped Wendell ass up, when they beat Wendell, he went to this to the corner to the four-way stop and say Unc chased him down there. But when Unc went under the light of the four-way stop, right at the corner of Darlings and shit right there, say when Unc went under the light at the four-way stop, he didn't have on the Dracula cape and shit. Only thing he looked it like was an old man. He looked it like somebody want him, like his shadow silhouette of the on him wasn't him. And when say he looked like Ulysses basically. And as Wendell was fighting all the little Asian demons and the demons that was fucking with him that was on Unc's side, say that Wendell didn't look like him. Wendell looked like Dope Man Steve, just with Fred Sanford clothes on. So they all get to the four-way stop and they start fighting each other. And out of nowhere, when they got to the four-way stop, a police cruiser come barreling down. And they said when 12 came and split them boys up and put on that siren, they said every last one of them boys, Wendell and Unc, grabbed their ears and fell to the ground, and both of them start throwing up. They say the police officer came out there and they start washing them down with the fire hose, because they had these little water pumps in the shit or something, like a fire extinguisher or something. I don't know. They say they just started spraying water on them, and like they were washing off the dirt, washes off the ashes or whatever the fuck they had put on. And they were down there on the ground, like just jetting up in their face, putting the water in their nose and shit. They was cleaning them out. So then Grandma ran down there and be like, don't touch him, don't touch him. Granddaddy, don't touch him, bitch, don't touch my boy. So now we in the hood, they finna fuck up the police. So the police officer get in the car. I kid you not, they say this is what he did. Say he get back in the car, put the fire extinguisher, water hose, whatever the fuck he had. He put it back in the trunk of his car. He get in his car, white dude. So he put his hat on and he looked at Grandmama and Ulysses' female companion that was fucking with Unc. And he looks at him, put his hat on, and drives straight down, make a U-turn, and leave out the little roundabout, the little horseshoe. They say when they helped Unc up, he was himself again. He had his skin color back. Say Wendell get up and he stumble and he go to the gate, and people around, so they help Wendell up too. And they say Wendell was himself again. So Grandma went up there and she started putting some Florida water and some like soap type shit. She made her own soap too, out of chicken fat. So she got the water hose and she was washing them with the chicken fat soap and the Florida water. And they say everybody just shooting Wendell with water, trying to get the knots and shit so he don't swell up and shit. And said that Unc and Wendell was on opposite sides of the street, the four-way stop. They looked at each other, and neither one of them could say anything because neither one of them knew what would happen, and they lost their memory, they say. So now, Unc and this man never got along ever since. They'll see each other, they'll talk even. Now, this is where I could come in this story. Uncle had me on the handlebars of his bike. We'll be going in the hole to drink, and we'll see Wendell walking up the road, and Unc wouldn't say hey to him, wouldn't say nothing, but Unc wasn't fighting, but Unc wouldn't say nothing to him. It was like, bitch, I see you, I don't see you, I don't give a fuck about you. And I used to be, hey, Mr. Wendell. And Unc like, don't talk to that nigga. And, yes, sir. But I always would speak to him because I ain't know no better. I just knew him from the neighborhood. Grandma said she goes down to the police station and she talked to Officer Walls. And when she talked to Officer Waltz, say she has to see Officer Waltz. She called him Waltz or Chalks or Schultz. It's got one of them 5-letter words, but I don't know because this ain't my story. And she said when she went up there and she talked to Officers Schultz and Waltz, she asked him what made him motherfucking come to the neighborhood. He wasn't supposed to be there. And she said, I told that bitch he wasn't supposed to be there. And she said he told her, well, I don't receive my messages from you. I receive my messages from the divine. And she said, God told me to break that up because that was unnatural. And he said, and Grandma said that was the first time that white man told her to shut her fucking mouth before he called Jesus on her and rebuked her. And Grandma said she got out of that police station so quick and she never messed with Officer Waltz again. Now, people, I don't know how that story ends because it always ends right there. And I'm just telling you what I seen. So now, again, this is the conclusion. I don't know what's the story. Funny, sad, bad, crazy. I don't know if it get the spook out of the bitch because it's not my story. I'm telling you verbatim, not verbatim. I'm telling you words they hear mouth. But that was the craziest thing I ever seen. These people was locked in literal Mortal Kombat. Their souls were locked in Mortal Kombat. They chose two people who fought in the neighborhood, two influential figures to fight in the neighborhood and be locked in Mortal Kombat with each other in life and death as kids all the way up to adulthood people. And it's all because a bitch understood magic and wasn't taught proper. I'm gonna say it. I think my grandma was wrong for this. Rubbing dope, Witch Man Ulysses ashes on Unc. I don't know what she wanted to get out of it. I don't know. Wendell was wrong for disturbing Steve Gray. But that goes to show you people, some of y'all could be locked in Mortal Kombat with people because y'all doing the wrong spell or y'all doing a spell that directly counters the motherfucker that's fucking with y'all. So y'all locked in Mortal Kombat with your baby daddy, with your husband, with your brother and sister because y'all on the same playing field but doing two different things that's making y'all clash. And that's the moral I take from this story. Well, we'll talk about it in the recap. I'm just gonna say this is not my favorite story because I was trying something new to honor my aunt because it's his birthday, and it was his birthday month last month. Well, it's his birthday month, June. But I just had to honor him. So I love my aunt. He the only one that took care of me when I was going through some shit. When people was abusing me, he defended me before he went to prison. So y'all know that story. Y'all go check out when I was a baby bearing and I was saved. That's the tearjerker for me. But people, I'm finna let you go. I talk too much. And we'll talk about it in the recap. All right, everybody, I'm tight telling you guys sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction, but it is the truth, no doubt. Take care. God bless. Much love. And y'all be safe out there in them battles now. Never know which motherfucker you fighting, yourself or your rival. Be good.